It is July 29th, 2008, and I have just finished removing all the acorn squash from this garden. I tried to save as much of it as I could, and I stuck it in the compost pile with the roots in the soil, and as well as the wilderness area over there. So there were some baby squash, but they had to go because the garden was really overgrown. As you can see, there's a path now. As we walk around here, still rather thick. I staked up a lot of the tomatoes, so the tomatoes are being held up by the fence and now being held up by some wooden stakes. Comfrey is gorgeous. It is, ready to use. Comfrey is a real resilient plant, and it can resist deer browsing, and if a deer munches it to the ground, it's going to come back. It's not going to die off. It's a very, very hardy plant. As we come in here, we have a path we can walk on now, and now we can see all the damage that the squash did. And look at this bare area. There wasn't anything that survived in this area because the squash just took it all over. There was a corn, beans, and squash planting here. Again, the squash killed the corn. It just got too big and too vigorous, and the corn just got yanked down and broke. So that experiment failed. This experiment, one of my tomato plants, a limb broke off and already had fruit on it, so I just took the limb and shoved it into the ground. And as you can see here, the fruit is still growing and turning color. So that was a really worthwhile experiment. This corn plant is doing well. The amaranth, this is elephant head amaranth. It will produce an edible grain, and it is doing really well. Also, tomatoes, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of tomatoes. There are a lot of these tomatoes that came from Regeneration CSA in High Falls, New York, and they are all over the place. It was only 5 tomato plants I originally planted, and this garden is now mostly tomatoes. This is a mint that I harvested earlier in the week, and it still smells, but it's was obviously shaded out for a while, so I'm going to see if it comes back. The basil's doing great. It's rather big. The parsley is still under here. It didn't make it. My American hazelnut, where is that? I see it. American hazelnut still alive, all the way down in here. Wasn't getting much sun, really competing a lot, but it's doing well. It's staked up. I'm glad that survived. See buckthorn down but not out. It needs, full sun if it's going to be fixing nitrogen, and as we can tell, it's turning yellow and dying. It really wasn't getting anything close to full sun where it was. So I'm going to come back in a couple weeks. Last thing I want to show you. We got some beans that came out. So the beans in this corn, beans, and squash planting. We got some beans that are ready to eat right here. So that's the really first good crop that has come out in about 2 months of planting.